America isn't collapsing from foreign threats, it's crumbling from within. Obesity plagues over 40% of US. Adults' mental health crises and loneliness are sky high, and traditional masculinity is mocked or erased. In that void stepped Liver King, a character not a role model, turning steroid-fueled lies into a $100 million mythology. Covering himself in blood, eating raw organs, preaching ancestral tenets, he sold the illusion that weak, insecure men could buy strength, packaged in $49 supplement bottles. And millions, starving for identity, bought it. Welcome to Grey BTC. Like and subscribe, it helps with the algorithm and lets me tell more stories like this. Brian Johnson wasn't a fitness guru, he was an opportunist, a businessman who saw that wellness culture had turned into performance art. In 2021, he morphed into Liver King, a sweaty internet caricature designed to look ancient but built on modern vices. He wasn't selling health, he was selling myth, a fantasy fueled by steroids and insecurity. Despite it all, millions believed the lie. Because he didn't just tell a story, he sold hope. Liver King's story isn't just about one influencer's deception. It's about a population so disconnected, so broken, they're willing to believe anything that gives them hope. And that's the real tragedy. Because this isn't just fitness, it's not just steroids. It's a symptom of a deeper rot in American culture, a place where masculinity has been reduced to performance, where success is measured by attention, not integrity. Brian Johnson didn't just exploit a niche, he exposed it. So, he revealed the deep psychological void inside millions of young men. What Liver King sold wasn't just a fake body, it was fake hope. A fantasy that told broken men, you can be powerful again.
If you want to be a top king, if you want unlimited access to cars, money, and if you want to find your queen, then you have to fuel your efforts with Ancestral supplements, liver, beef organs, and bone marrow with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because liver is king. And you already know with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, always gonna have a whole feast protein.
The question has always been, do you take steroids? Do you take PEDs? The answer to that is no. I've always told the truth, I still tell the truth.
The fitness industry didn't just allow Liver King to thrive, it embraced him, platformed him, and profited from him. Every influencer that featured him, every podcast that invited him on, and every YouTube algorithm that pushed his content was complicit in the illusion. Not because they believed him, but because he was profitable. His body was absurd, his claims were laughable, and his lifestyle was unhinged, but none of that mattered. He brought in millions of views, he sold millions in supplements, and most importantly, he became a spectacle people couldn't look away from. That's the tragedy of modern fitness culture. It's no longer built on discipline, consistency, or truth. It's built on virality, and Liver King was perfect for that system. Brian Johnson didn't have to be honest. He had to be extreme. He had to be meme-worthy. He had to feed the algorithm the same way he claimed to feed his primal body. And the algorithm rewarded him, pushing his face onto millions of screens, turning him into a household name. Not because he earned it, but because America's become a culture where absurdity sells more than authenticity.
Look at what the chefs made me today. Meat mountain for the Liver King, because I keep stealing all the meat that they make.
Liver King was simply the most exaggerated example of a larger problem. A country where health is entertainment, masculinity is performance, and the truth is just another obstacle to brand growth. By the time anyone asked the hard questions, it was too late. He had already made tens of millions. He had already sold out shows, appeared on national media, and earned trust from an audience that desperately wanted to believe in something. He didn't scam them alone, he had help. From influencers, from marketers, from an entire ecosystem designed to convert controversy into cash.
If somebody has, let's say, 700, testosterone, free testosterone, and if they're taking steroids and they want to get up to 1,400 or 1,500 or whatever it is, guess what? You can do the same thing with the 9 ancestral tenets. And if you do the 9 ancestral tenets and you're living this way over this amount of decades, you're going to be able to produce your highest and most dominant form.
And millions bought in, not because they were stupid, but because they were starving for guidance, for masculinity, for control in a world that made them feel small. That's what makes this story more than a scandal. It's a mirror. It reflects a broader epidemic in the West, where men are taught that their worth is measured in muscle, dominance, and primal energy. And when society removes healthy outlets for that identity, when fathers are absent, communities are broken, and institutions no longer serve the people, someone like Liver King becomes a messiah. Not because he's right, but because he's loud. His downfall didn't just humiliate him, it embarrassed the millions of men who believed him. And that betrayal cuts deep, because it wasn't just about fitness, it was about identity. The Liver King saga is a warning that in a society built on algorithms, those who rise to the top aren't the wisest or the strongest, they're the most marketable. And in that kind of system, the next Liver King is always just one camera away. In the end, the Liver King wasn't the problem, he was the proof. Proof that American culture is so broken, so spiritually malnourished, that it will crown a screaming, steroid-fueled caricature as a role model simply because he looks confident and talks about liver. You've been watching Grey BTC. Like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm and helps me tell more stories like this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is the last time we'll fall for something like this? Or is the next king already on TikTok?